Last week we brought you numbers 10 to 6 in the pound-for-pound ratings. At 10 was Chris John. Old favourite Oscar de la Hoya took the number 9 slot. At 8 was new kid on the block Kelly Pavlik. Miguel Cotto made our list at 7, and Rafael Marquez and Israel Vasquez shared the spoils at 6. Now it's the all-important conclusion as we reach the summit and crown the KOTV pound-for-pound champion. Mexico's Juan Manuel Marquez finds himself at number 4 in the pound-for-pound list despite his painfully tight loss to Manny Pacquiao. After 12 frantic rounds, he lost a split verdict that realistically could have gone either way. Their first meeting was also razor tight after the Mexican rose from 3 first-round knockdowns to batter Pac-Man down the stretch and earn a draw. Their slugouts confirm both men's places among the sport's very best. Last year was a stellar one for Marquez as he ended the 6-fight win streak of a very lively Marco Antonio Pereira via a clear points win, and he closed it with a one-sided drubbing of the talented Roque Juarez. He takes his place in the upper echelons of the pound-for-pound list, and at 34 remains one of the most entertaining and gifted warriors out there. At 43, the executioner is the grand old master of the game, and he's been at the top of his profession for nearly 14 years. His 2006 win over Antonio Tarver for the light heavyweight championship, and his success a year later over Winky Wright, shows he still belongs in the top draw. His controversial 2005 losses to Jermaine Taylor cost him his place at the top of this list. Results since show he's far from finished. Though the brash Philadelphian is likely to be an underdog against Joe Calzaghe, only a fool would write him off. A convincing win over the Welshman would give Hopkins the career send-off he deserves and see him reclaim his place as the pound-for-pound best. Joe Calzaghe seems to be getting better with every fight. After 9 years as WBO super middleweight champion, the Welsh Dragon scored a career-best win over the heavily favoured Jeff Lacey in 2006. His tough win over Sakio Bika looks better, given the adopted Aussie's success since. And after blowing away Peter Manfredo, Calzaghe unified the super middleweight titles with a resounding win over previously unbeaten Mikael Kessler last November. He's favoured to shut the mouth of Bernard Hopkins when they meet in an April light heavyweight super fight. And if he fulfills his own pre-fight predictions, the pedestal that Calzaghe finds himself upon could be raised even higher. The number 1 contender for the pound-for-pound throne is Manny Pacquiao. This thunderous little southpaw exploded onto the scene in 2003 with a violent win over Marco Antonio Pereira. He followed that with a draw against Marquez, and he got the better of the legendary Eric Morales in their epic trilogy. 2007 saw him administer Jorge Solis' first taste of defeat, and he sent Pereira into retirement in their rematch. He started this year with another rematch success over Marquez, and if the rise in weight that Pacquiao intends to undertake reaps the rewards of his recent successes, it will be almost impossible to ignore the case to see him regarded as the pound-for-pound champion.
The winner by knockout victory, and still pound for pound, the best in the world, Pretty Boy Floyd.
Who else could it be? The self-proclaimed pretty boy beats Pac-Man in this list by virtue of his unbeaten record and the apparent ease with which he defeats his peers. Mayweather has claimed world titles in 5 divisions, and at 31 he's in the midst of his peak. He's solidified his pound-for-pound standing in 2007 with a point success over Oscar de la Hoya, and he capped a fine year by outclassing Ricky Hatton in December. The manner with which he dispatched the hitman was simply awesome and showed that he's more than capable of finding an extra gear if and when he needs it. There are just 2 dangers to Mayweather's pound-for-pound dominance. 1, the emerging threat of Miguel Cotto at welterweight, and 2, himself. Money Mayweather will only fight for major financial gain, and if boxing cannot provide the necessary economic rewards, don't be surprised to see Floyd walk away without fulfilling his destiny.